My name is Ryan Clift. I'm the chef and co-owner of Tippling Club in Singapore. We're a bar restaurant that is recognised as one of Asia's best restaurants. Now we're coming into our third year of operation, and we're really starting to develop some new things and come up with some new wacky concepts and ideas. And the food itself, it's about reinventing. It's about creating new flavour profiles and different techniques and taking the diner out of their comfort zone. I grew up in a small town called Devizes in Wiltshire, in England, middle of nowhere. It's famous for the brewery, and that's it. And from there, I sort of found my love for cooking, and over the 20 years, I've worked around the world, in London, France, Australia, and now Singapore, and sort of mishmashed everything into one definitive style. It's not unusual for us to get crazy requests to travel around the world and cook dinners for people in their homes or businesses or other restaurants as a guest chef. But a very good friend of mine who has ties with the palace in Jodhpur asked me would I be interested in going to cook for the Maharaja, but using Indian style, Indian flavours. And for me, this was an exciting challenge, an exciting prospect. Done a little bit of research on the area, and it looks amazing. The architecture, the buildings, the fortresses. Really never cooked for someone like this before. He owns one of the largest fortresses in the world, the Marenga Fort. And I've seen this thing in books and online. It looks so spectacular. I mean, the real challenge for me is the fact that none of the dishes have been created before. At the restaurant, we try and test our dishes for months before they go on the menu. And so I'm excited to go to India and actually take on that challenge and play with the flavours and understand and learn as much as I can in the short time I'm there.
There's a whole lot to learn, a lot of pressure to get this dinner right. Got just over a week to get to Rajasthan and chase some new flavours, so it's time to hit the road.
I know nothing about their flavours. Of course, I've eaten Indian in a few countries, England being one of them. But I've never taken time to study the recipes or study the techniques or methods involved. It's not something that I've wanted to portray in my food at the restaurant. So for me, it's very exciting that I'm going somewhere that really is totally new to me. And I'm really hoping that I can bring something back to the restaurant here in Singapore. In Indian culture, the Maharajas used to throw some of the grandest of all banquets in India. That's really got me thinking, I really can't let this guy down. I need to serve something of a similar standard to what he's used to. So I'm hoping that I can strike up a good relationship with them and learn some of the secrets that they have to offer in regards to the flavours of Rajasthan and Mughal cuisine.
Before leaving New Delhi, there are a few important food stops to investigate. Firstly, the famous Bukhara restaurant, where they specialise in northwestern frontier food. I'm hoping the head chef, JP Singh, is going to introduce me to the tandoor oven and put me to work in his kitchen. Bukhara is considered by many to be the best tandoor restaurant in all of India, and I can't wait to have a go at cooking in their clay ovens.
Chef Singh.
Hello, Ryan.
Hi, mate.
Welcome to Bukhara.
Pleased to meet you. First time I've ever stepped foot into a traditional Indian kitchen, and to see the equipment for me was totally new. I've never cooked on a tandoor before. Real eye-opener for me.
And here I'm going to show you, this is a vertical clay oven which I have installed here, which is called tandoor. And anything which is cooked in this tandoor is known as tandoori.
Tandoori.
Say, for instance, if I'm cooking the prawns, tandoori prawns, then we call it tandoori prawns.
It's a very intimate relationship between the chef and his stove. You've really got to understand the different areas and the different angle of the coals and the different heat that's coming from it, and really have to understand a great deal of how it works to be able to master a tandoor. It's not a piece of equipment that you can just start cooking amazing restaurant food off of.
Nobody's ever fallen in?
Oh, no. There are chances of falling when you make a naan Bukhara.
Oh, really?
Because you make big size and then you have to lean towards in and then you have to put it against the wall.
Right.
Sometimes then we have to hold the guy from this side so that sometimes it might
like
get
a safety
imbalanced.
cord, yeah?
Yes.
Wow.
Maybe sometimes you can get imbalanced, but nobody has fallen so far and nobody will fall, that will make sure.
Wow.
That's it, keep it here.
Yeah.
And this is how the naan Bukhara, the family naan.
It's amazing.
Nice smell? Nice smell?
Now you need is a whole leg of lamb inside.
Huh?
We roll it up.
Depends for some giant personality. Maybe they would like it that way.
Bukhara is famous for its dal, and the recipe begins with pre-boiled black lentils cooked until just tender with their skins on. To this, JP adds a generous handful of salt and another of red chili powder.
And then we use the ginger garlic paste together.
Right.
We use good quantity of ginger garlic paste.
Yep. That's a lot.
Yes.
Wow. Smells great already.
A whole kilo of butter is added in with a bowl of tomato puree, and lastly, several bowls of hot water go in to thin out the mixture.
In Rajasthan, is there a specific kind of dal that they cook, or am I going to offend anyone if I cook them a different dal?
No, they have their own version of ingredients system. But dal, probably the yellow dal, they'll use it.
Okay.
It's a drier area and they need to eat a little more of
Yep.
the spicy products. So probably you'll find little spicy the food over there.
Really?
Yeah, in Rajasthan part of it. So we have plenty of water here.
Once the dal is boiled, the temperature is lowered and it's simmered overnight until it reaches the perfect consistency.
A lot of people come from far off places just to have the bread and the dal.
Working with the kitchen team of Bukhara was an absolute treat. I learned so much in the short time I was there. The guys were totally open to me being there and were really informative and really happy to share with me their style and their techniques.
About the same, eh? You reckon that one's better? That's mine.
Oh yeah, that's my one. I told you, you
Huh?
made better than me.
Hey, really?
Yes, why not?
Huh? Can I get a job?
Early the next morning, JP and I arranged to visit Delhi's famous markets to see the full range of spices on offer to the Indian kitchen.
Your restaurant's pumping.
Pumping, yeah, that's what the usual is usual. And
Where are you taking me?
Today I'm going to take you to Khadi Baudi, the biggest spice market in the country. This place is a little different from New Delhi because New Delhi is a wide spread out place. This place is much more crowded, full of business people moving around from morning to late evenings. They have been doing business generation after generations over there.
Yeah.
So
It's going to be interesting.
yeah, it's going to be very interesting and it is great learning. You'll find it's the only thing that is much crowded.
Yeah.
But we got to make the way also for ourselves over there. We'll manage that, I'm sure about that.
Cool.
I've been to so many markets, Skiji, I've been to Regis Market in Paris, I've been to all these different places, amazing markets. But the spice market is mind-boggling, totally.
It smells a lot.
Yeah, it's totally different to...
Yes, it's very good.
So much fresher than what we get.
Yeah.
JP showed me around just a small section of the whole market, smelling and tasting as we went, and he explained some of the more unusual items used in Indian cuisine.
Peeper. It's called in Hindi, it's called peeper. It has a very peculiar smell on its own. This also forms a part of a combination of spices. Also this is it gives you a little warm effect on the body. That's why...
Warming.
Yeah, warming effect on the body. So look at this, it's very,
Yeah, the seeds inside.
very different smell it has got.
But is it spicy? Is it?
No, you can taste it. You can taste this. It's not spicy, but it has a very different flavor altogether.
Yeah, wow. Really, it's got a bit of...
Peppery flavor? Yes.
on the tongue.
Yes.
The smells, the sights, the difference of colours, the vibrance of the spices were amazing. Any chef that didn't get inspired or excited by that is a lunatic in my eyes, I learned so many things in such a short time with JP. He showed me some spices I've never seen before and explained to me how they're used and what they're used for, from the purple bark of a tree that they use in Rogan Josh to colour it, to a moss that looks so bizarre, but it's used in some of their garam masala spice blends. Really interesting, a real eye-opener.
After a few hours of spice sampling, it was time to stock up on ingredients for the Maharaja's dinner at a special shop that JP knew in the heart of Kariboli market.
These are the local desi flower of the rose flower.
Yep.
For using in the food part.
They make rose water
Yes,
from this?
we make rose water, we make rose essence. This can be also used as a part of a garam masala mix,
Yeah.
and as a combination and concoction of the same ingredient.
Nice.
And this gives a very distinctive flavor, very cooling, very soothing smell to the product itself.
And would this be something they use in Rajasthan much, the roses? or-
Yes, you can get there also.
From 500 grams of that, 200 grams of that. So that's cool. And then definitely the long peppers. Cheers, mate. All of that for like $10. It's insane.
JP headed back to Bukhara for the lunch service and suggested that I visit the restaurant at Karim's Hotel, which apparently serves raw food from the Mughal era.
So I'm at Karim's. These guys are just smashing out prata, roti, and I mean, they're smashing it out quicker than anyone I've ever seen. And these guys are famous for Mughal cuisine. It's the reason I'm here. So many people have told me about it. I'm about to sit down with the owner and try it firsthand. I'm really excited. Is this traditional, as it was back in the day, Mughal cuisine?
Basically, these items like mutton barra and sikh kebab are real Mughal dishes.
Yeah.
Because Mughal were hunter.
Yes.
They used to hunt and they used to roast and they eat.
So, what is this?
This is brain curry.
Brain curry. This one I've heard a lot about. Apparently, this is quite famous.
How do you like that?
Very creamy. Very creamy. And some of the spices in there, what are the spices that are giving it? It's really, really pungent.
We use some kind of herbs and red chili powder and churned onion and some recipes cannot be told you.
Never written down.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Don't worry, I won't tell you about that. No?
It's got really nice flavours, but the spices are quite delicate. You know, I think that appeals to my palate as well. I think that's something that I might do at the end. We'll see. And if it's wrong, I'll blame you. You know?
What I've learned about Rajasthan so far is that it was certainly a tough place in medieval times. It was an arid region where water was precious. However, this didn't stop the influx of people who sought to conquer the area.
So I've just arrived in Jaipur. Already, the place looks amazing. It's really getting me excited. And tonight, I'm having dinner with a famous Indian food critic, and they're serving me a traditional Rajasthani feast. I can't wait.
My destination is a new luxury hotel on the edge of town called the Devi Ratan. It has been designed to fit the surrounding desert environment, and it's obvious no expense has been spared in the construction.
This is a thali that we are having. This is a traditional way of eating food in India across communities. This is what we call a bati.
Bati.
Yes. It's bread.
Yep.
Flaky on the outside and softer inside, drenched in ghee.
You can see. And this, it looks almost like brown sugar. What do we have here?
Well, this is churma. This is dessert, if you like. We don't have dessert as a separate course. It's all in a thali. Rajasthan has a very distinct culture. And as you can see from the people around, and there's this sense of immense history and culture that is very evident in the state. And the food is just a reflection of it. So obviously there are some Mughal influences because the Mughal period is a huge chunk of our history.
Coming from Delhi to Jaipur was it's getting drier and drier and drier.
Yes, absolutely, and dry heat, hardy people really. So a lot of robust flavors. If you're talking about Indian food, there has to be some soul in the food.
But it seems that everywhere I've been so far, I'm asking for a few recipes from the chefs, and it's kind of steeped in secrecy.
Yeah, well, that's true. A lot of chefs like to have that mystique and will not part with those secrets.
So do you think I'm going to get any recipes at the Chefs in the Palace kitchen?
Yes, why not?
Yeah?
They are generous enough.
I'm going to try.
Yeah.
It was great to speak to a real authority on Indian food and to taste some of the traditional flavours of Rajasthan. There's certainly a lot to digest and plenty of planning to do.
So it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm normally going to bed right now, or certainly not getting up. But last night the producer sprung on me that today I'm going to cook for some homeless street kids. It's with a company called I India. These people go out and feed these kids every day.
Seeing as I had ingredients on hand, I decided instead of using them for my final dinner, I'm going to make the kids a chocolate mousse. I'm just going to start by thickening the milk and cream mixture slightly. In here, I just have one of the gums I brought with me from Singapore, called xanthan gum. Just going to add that into our mix. The egg white powder is just going to add a slightly more meringue texture to my mousse. It's going to help it come out of the siphon a little easier. It just goes in. So this chocolate was going to go to the Maharaja. I reckon this is a far better way of using it. It's going to put me under pressure later because I'm going to have to come up with something totally different again. And after dinner tonight, I've learned so many more things. I haven't really been to bed. I'm still pondering on what I'm doing. Fingers crossed, this is going to make a few smiles tomorrow. Something they wouldn't have seen before. Tomorrow the kids are going to really appreciate it, so I'm looking forward to serving it to them.
As the morning sun rose over the desert, I made my way to the India compound on the outskirts of Jaipur, where a special welcoming committee was waiting.
One more?
The kitchen staff were already busy getting lunch ready, and founder Prabhakar Goswami explained to me the process.
We were cooking, just started with 3 children.
3 children.
Yeah. And then 3, then 10, then 30.
So how many are you cooking for now?
We are helping 3,000 street kids every day.
So what are they preparing today? What's the sort of staple meals that you're preparing for these kids?
We cook rice,
Yep.
dal,
Yep.
and then we have bread,
Yep.
chapati, and then also 1 vegetable.
All these people here, I take it, are voluntary?
Some of them are volunteers.
Yep.
And some of they are just part-time workers.
Yeah, that's great. More help the better. I mean, you guys are starting at 5, and what time do you go out to serve the children?
They finish by 9:30 or 10, and then they start keep putting all stuff in the buses and jeeps, and then they go for the different street points.
Classes begin with prayers and then progress through a series of hands-on exercises designed to be both fun and educational. It's obvious that these kids really get a kick out of the activities, and the teachers are strict to keep things fun, trying to get everyone involved.
In India, I had to get up on the tanker to shower the kids, and from the ground it didn't look that high, but once you're up there you realised how high up you were. It was awesome to be up there and to see the expression of the kids as they were getting showered. Was pretty heartwarming. You don't realise if you think you've got it tough, well, you don't. It's the tip of the iceberg. It's 50,000 street kids in every city in India, and to see the work and effort that the guys at India are putting in is quite emotional. It's amazing what they're doing. They're doing amazing things, and the more donations they get, the better they can support those children, because the population is growing. So as the population grows, there's more and more homeless kids or street kids. The thing that sticks in my mind is that, coming from a Western country, you just don't see that. They don't stand a chance without people like India supporting them. To see the look on their faces, just have a shower, something everybody at home takes for granted. Kids have to rely on a water tanker to come and shower them. They have to rely on donations for the soap to clean them. And they have to rely on India for basic medication and vaccinations. And to see the look on their faces today sort of really made my trip. So after spending an emotional morning with the children in Jaipur, I've been invited to have dinner tonight with some Jaipur royalty, a gentleman by the name of Vic, or also known as Prince Naila. It's one extreme to the other, from homeless children to royalty in 4 hours. It's going to be an eye-opener, but I'm excited to pick his brains. He's actually quite a talented cook himself. I'm trying to gain a little bit more knowledge of my final mission. Prince Naila, it's an honor to meet you.
Pleasure's mine, absolutely.
You have an amazing place here.
Yeah, this is my family home.
I believe we're going to have some amazing food tonight.
Best in Rajasthan.
Fantastic. Wow.
This is an amazing place you have.
Yeah, this is our ancestral home, basically. And my great-grandfather, I'm the 5th generation out of his name was Fateh Singh Ji, who built everything. And this was his city house. And this hall hasn't been touched from 1872. It's kept the same way throughout the years. And we're very proud of the hall because we haven't done much to it.
It's amazing. I mean, I can't believe I'm actually dining here with you this evening.
This is the old traditional way of actually bringing the food. In the olden days, there used to be no light, so the people used to carry light and other things and then remove all the insects or anything crawling around to get them off. So they used to make the noise and keep it all ready. So this is the old traditional way also of eating. You got everything in the thali.
The main ingredient in any Rajasthani meal is chilies. You know, they love their fire.
But flavoursome, spicy, Rajasthan.
Yes, no doubt about it. So the taste of meat is enhanced much more because there's less water in the lamb.
Very interesting to see from when we first got in the Mughal cuisine how different it was to traditional Rajasthani food. A lot more dried ingredients were going into the food. A lot more lentils, a lot more stuff that didn't need a lot of water to be grown. The flavours were more pronounced. The textures were more interesting, more hearty almost, the food itself. And I suppose it was designed for that desert sort of environment. They were used to using all those products on wild game. Now it's illegal to hunt the game, but they're still using lamb that's farmed on very arid country. So the meat is a lot tougher and stewed in a lot of ghee. I'm being spoilt tonight, totally. This is amazing. Which I believe some of this you prepared.
Yes, I did cook the meat today myself and started with the chicken. Had assistants to come and finish it for me.
The two best bits I've eaten tonight.
So that's
thank you very much.
No, pleasure.
My pleasure. Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Back on the road again, heading for the small town called Ocean on the edge of the great Indian Thar Desert. My destination is Indian Safari Club, owned by Reggie Singh, an expert in desert culture and cooking.
Thanks for having me. Awesome. Looks awesome.
So first time on a camel?
Yep, first time.
So how does it feel?
Yeah, pretty,
Little
pretty
scary?
smooth ride, yeah. Oh.
So no hair, but we're going to do a leg of
Leg
lamb.
of lamb. So it's a traditional old sort of hunting recipe, yeah?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Awesome.
You're going to love it.
Yeah.
You're going to love it. So it takes a little bit of time.
After arriving at the camp, Reggie took me to try camel's milk for the first time.
A lot of froth.
Pretty frothy. Whips up pretty well.
When I finally tasted the milk itself, there was a very faint salt characteristic to the final product, which for me was something totally new. You almost encapsulated the arid country that the milk was from. It was a new flavour that I'd never tried before, and that's something that I like to experience when I travel.
Hello, little cow.
All right, we're going to do yogurt.
Yep.
This is a local powder. It's called kachvi. It's a berry.
I was told that it's like a tenderizer,
That's right. Also, it kind of gives it that tanginess.
like a bit tangy.
Yes.
Like okay.
This is your red chili powder.
So I'm assuming you like it spicy.
I love it spicy. But this is coriander.
Coriander, yeah, ground coriander. Cool.
This is mango pickle.
Mango pickle.
Yes. Turmeric. Whoops, sorry about that. Some salt.
Yep.
Clarified butter. And some garlic paste.
Yeah.
A little bit of onion. I'm going to get my hands messy now.
So Reggie made a dish which used to be known as kad kagosh, which refers to a hare roasted under the ground or under the sand. But obviously since hunting was abolished and they're no longer allowed to hunt wild hare or anything in the desert, he's recreated the dish, which is steeped in tradition in his family's history. And he now uses a whole leg of lamb, so the dish has now been changed to kad ran.
Now we just get the banana leaves. Then we need to tie it. Oh, here we go.
It's not even cooked yet and it smells good.
There we go.
Cool.
So that's all set.
This is the clay.
The clay. That's done.
That's it. So this is the pit. So this goes straight in the center, yeah?
That's right. Just take this and set it in the middle. Excellent. Now we've covered it up again.
Have you ever lost your oven? You know?
Nope.
You have.
We make sure we put a steak.
Have a whiskey when you're cooking, and then realise that where did I put the oven? After we buried the lamb, I had time to go over the chicken dum puck recipe with Reggie's wife. And this is a classic Rajasthani dish which dates back to Mughal time, and dum means steam and puck is pure. Just as she finished the chicken and the chicken was just cooked, she had a really interesting technique of adding some lightly fried potatoes to the top of the curry. She then put a piece of bread or a chapati on top of the potato, and she took a large coal, placed it on top of the chapati, and then just put a ladle of clarified butter over, which instantly created like a massive haze of smoke.
Wow.
And they just left it until the coal didn't smoke anymore. Then we dug the lamb up, and I was surprised to see the coals were still glowing after they'd been sort of caked in sand for so long. I expected it to just be cooling down at that point. But the actual heat that came out of that thing when we dug it up was quite intense. And it was quite hot, nearly burnt my hands trying to pull the lamb out. But yeah, and it was perfectly cooked.
That's amazing.
Serious.
That's amazing.
So it's cooked well, you think?
Yeah. It's
You reckon we should have waited another 10 minutes or so, or just right?
I reckon it's on the money.
Excellent. Excellent. So Ryan, after we're done here, you got some entertainment, some local Rajasthani dancers, and try my moonshine.
your moonshine.
You got to do that.
Sounds like could get a bit wild. Yeah.
It's hard to imagine a more Rajasthani desert experience than this, or a more accommodating host than Reggie and his wife. In my opinion, a night at the Indian Safari Club is a must for anyone coming to Rajasthan. Finally heading southeast towards Jodhpur, otherwise known as Mewar, or Land of Death.
I'm trying not to get overwhelmed with everything that's around me at the moment. Just the smells, the sights, the people. To meet people like JP Singh and to spend time at the Bakara really opened my eyes to the way that they think and the way they work in their kitchens, the flavors, the profiles they're putting together, and more than anything, their knowledge of their Indian cuisine is just outstanding. The areas I've been to so far have just really overwhelmed me, and I'm trying to keep my head focused for the last meal, and fingers crossed I might be a little bit closer to knowing exactly what I'm going to be cooking for the Maharaja.
Where Jaipur is called the Pink City, Jodhpur is blue, due to the blue Brahmin homes that circle the famous Marenga Fortress, the finest Hindu fortress in existence.
The fortress or the Marenga Fort, beautiful, towers over the city, daunting to look at, and just to imagine that a century or so ago, the royal family residing in that fort. The amount of cannons alone in the fort speaks volumes for what they've been up to over the years. I mean, that fort was frequently attacked through the years, and to see the drop on the other side, and just to think the things that happened in that palace over the centuries is quite intriguing, and it's a real eye-opener. I'm actually starting to get a little bit nervous. I'm not sure, still not sure how I'm going to pull this off. I mean, I'm cooking his flavors in his kingdom, and I'm going to be serving him dishes in my style but using his flavors. I really don't know how he's going to take it. The palace is amazing. I mean, I've been to some pretty luxurious places in my career. I've cooked in some pretty amazing hotels, but first impressions, this is the big league we're talking about. It's truly as opulent as it can get.
I was born here. This is what I thought was quite normal, to be running around the corridors and bicycling, and we used to play kind of ball games in in the dome. And I remember in the ballroom we had set up a badminton thing with a lovely sprung floor. And we enjoyed it, and we used to go climbing up on the roof and up into the dome. And my sisters and I, and we had lots of cousins and extended family who were living here at that time. My grandmother, uncles, aunts, cousins. So it was quite a full household.
It's really starting to dawn on me now that this guy means business. And I think end the story really is that I really need to deliver on this meal.
I'm expecting a whole lot of surprises. I can't think what exactly to expect. I got a glimpse of what the menu might look like, but you say that's already gone under change.
You know, I've cooked for presidents, I've cooked for Bill Clinton, I've cooked for Bush, I've cooked for as many Hollywood stars as I can recall. Normally in the confinements of a kitchen that I'm used to working in, this one's going to be one of the tougher challenges. I've had friends that have done events in India and have told me that it's to be prepared. So it's a question of how prepared can I be? I've only brought a few small items with me, only one piece of equipment just to help me along. And we're also going to need an auto sham set at about 70 degrees. Preparation is 80% of your final product. The day before was a good 18 hours of preparation in the kitchen. That was very last minute. I had to come up with those dishes. The guys in the kitchen were more than accommodating. They were totally helpful, but really freaked with what I was serving. It was basically just please chop this, please chop that, please pick this, please pick that. They're a really good bunch of guys. Totally sorted all the ingredients out that I asked for, managed to, last minute, on a day where they don't slaughter, they got somebody to slaughter the lambs to get me the brains. A few things went in the bin and I had to start again. I thought that would be something that was a little bit of humour at the same time, to serve them an edible thali. It's not something they've definitely never tried eating before because they'd have no teeth left. And to serve the mousse on top, it was sort of an assortment of the condiments that I ate along the way as well. Those were the sort of inspirations that I used for the first course, for the thali. So go, coriander, let's go, let's go. The room itself was probably the grandest room I've served a dinner in. Considering the room could have held about 400 people, to see the Maharaja at the head of the table, it just made everything fit perfectly. So as it says, your first course tonight is my interpretation of a thali. Edible thali, this is a poppadom, airbrushed with edible silver. It's served with a carrot and masala mousse. It's finished with freeze-dried yogurt, pickled lime, and fresh coriander. So I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please start.
I do like to go and meet with the guests. I like to announce the course, especially at an event like this. So it was very interesting for me to go out and actually get it firsthand the moment they're eating it. Normally it's been fed to 5, 6, 7 people prior to a customer getting it.
Here's the good times.
And so to go out there for the first time probably in my career that only I've tried it, really felt like I pulled something out of the hat. So this is my interpretation of a yellow dal. We made the dal. Once the dal was made, we strained it, but we only just cooked the lentils briefly for a few moments, just to get some of that starchy, sort of lentil-y flavour into the actual stock with the spices. It was strained off, the lentils were transferred into a fresh stock with the same spices and cooked until tender. We ended up with a really smooth puree. Sprinkling over some puffed yellow lentils. Beauty of this dish is we can pre-plate it. This one's pre-plated. This goes in hot at the table, so the waiter's just gonna pour, okay? So I think it was important while serving that each person knew exactly what he had to do and to not give them too much. But for them, it was a new style of service. They weren't used to plating food in that mannerism, so constructed and so detailed and so many touches, that it was a bit of a challenge, but I think we pulled it off. Okay, please, go. Come on, guys. Next plates, lay it out, get it ready. For your next course, you have a deconstructed dal. All the characteristics of a yellow dal or a moong dal. So the idea for this dish is to emulsify everything in the bowl and you will make your own yellow dal.
The sphere of tomato is accentuated with a little bit of red chili, so it's a little bit spicy. So now if you emulsify the whole thing, it should eat like a yellow dal. Enjoy.
It was one of the most hairiest points in the evening. I'm about to fire on the next course. And to my horror, the Maharaj just left the room quite suddenly. And to have the head of service calmly walking through saying, oh, the Maharaj has left. It was like, well, where's he gone? It's a pretty big palace. Does he not like what I've served him? I'm about to serve the next course. If I don't serve it in the next few minutes, it's going to be overcooked. Yeah, it's fine. He'd just gone for a walk, just to walk off his first course or two, and came back and sat down as though nothing had happened. So luckily we found out just at the right time, and we managed to actually withhold it and serve it nice and hot on time.
Wasn't quite sure what was coming, but it was brilliant.
Well, for your next course, you have my interpretation of Karim's lamb brain curry. Karim being a restaurant in Delhi that I was taken to on my travel. First time I've eaten lamb brains in a curry. So this is my interpretation. This is a little bit of Asian influence thrown into it. Simply poached the lamb brains. They've been breadcrumbed with a little bit of coriander, cumin, cinnamon, deep fried. And they're served on top of a bed of kuzu noodles. These are a type of noodle.
What is kuzu?
Kuzu noodles. Yeah. Kuzu is a type of starch from Japan. And they make these noodles that have the ability to soak up anything you cook with them. So what I've done is I've taken the tomato chutney that they taught me how to make in Jaipur, and I've braised the noodles in that tomato chutney and some sprouting onion flowers from your garden. Enjoy. Thank you. So we're just in the last stages. We're getting everything ready. It's D-Day, so to speak.
The main dish, which was really the bane for me, I really liked the mint and yogurt sort of accompaniment that was served at the start of every meal. So I decided to take some of that yogurt mixture and blend it through the meat, adding a little bit of acidity, a little bit of wetness, and also a beautiful fresh minty coriandery, cuminy sort of characteristic to the lamb. So I made a coconut ash, and I added that to the traditional lamb marinade, which sent it jet black. I marinated the lamb loin, in the same marinade, and I very slowly cooked it at 70 degrees in the oven. Afterwards, we seared it very quickly. So when we carved it, the lamb loin had the appearance of being charred on the outside. It was the hardest part of the day, probably, was focusing on that lamb dish to make sure it was right.
So what we've done is we've done a traditional tandoor lamb. I keep saying we, there's only me and some helpers out there. Well, what I've done is taken a traditional sort of lamb, tandoor lamb marinade of just ginger, garlic, a little bit of papaya, and chili paste. Puffed saffron rice, basil flowers, and wild fennel flowers also from your lovely garden at the front of the hotel. Thank you.
After spending hours marinating my lamb and carefully smoking over the tandoor, unfortunately for me, after all the time and effort I put into it, the temperature gauge on the oven was actually broken and it was actually deep frying. I didn't know this until I came back several hours later to find I had a Kentucky Fried lamb leg. So I had to work very late through the night to get another one on. Luckily, I found another oven in the hotel that was a tad more reliable. The Maharaja really enjoyed the lamb dish, which was a real moment for me because it was the one I spent so much time and effort on.
It's very tasty, very, very tasty.
Last dish I'm going to do is my Rajasthani landscape, inspired by my trip so far. So, made a fluid gel, masala tea. That's just going to go into the plate as our foundation. Next up is a long pepper spiced ganache. I only used some of this rosewater jelly, so it's got quite a citrusy characteristic. The ice cream we made earlier, a little bit of camel's milk,
is our churma. This is the churma we made from the ground bati, a bit of brown sugar and black cardamom. We made some edible stones out of white chocolate and some burnt leek. We used a leek. We actually made edible ash. These are going to be my pebbles. Like an arid landscape, freeze-dried pineapple. And just to finish it off, we're going to put a few branches of the local fauna. That's my Rajasthani landscape. I'm not a chef that shouts and screams or F's and blinds at people and kicks up a stink and throws things or just misbehaves for no reason in the kitchen. And I believe it's very important to keep your head during service and to maintain focus and not lose sight of the end goal. And the end goal is delivering perfect food to your guest. It's always nice as a chef to meet people who you might inspire, but at the same time, I was inspired by them. I was inspired by their kitchen, I was inspired by their ingredients. That's what the industry is about. Just as the last dessert was leaving the kitchen, it was a big sigh of relief for myself. Also, I think from the young guys that were helping me. On the plate, you have masala chai fluid gel. It's topped with a camel's milk ice cream, a sweetened gel of fresh rose, a long pepper spiced chocolate ganache. It's finished with my first ever attempt at a churma. You have a edible chocolate pebbles, and it's finished with, true to the arid landscape, some greenless trees. I hope you enjoy it.
It's brilliant.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Cheers. So I couldn't relax just yet. I had to go out and meet with everybody at the table and really be open up to questions and also critique. The best thing was I asked for the lamb brains, and they sent the whole head.
Yeah, that's how they do it. That's what I was trying to explain to them.
I was like,
I'm not quite sure.
I've been cooking for 20 years, but I really don't know how to get it out. Like, I'm sorry, can you take that back? They were taken out of their comfort zone, which is what I set out to do, and what we always set out to do, and to deliver them something that wasn't familiar to them.
The whole papadum thing was a good starter. The soup was a great surprise and completely unique and different. Brain cutlets and brain curry and things we haven't had for a long time. I was thinking about it some few days back, and you produced it. So the lamb was great.
How was the lamb? That was like my biggest bane.
That was the we got the whole textures and everything that went to it. That was the main course. Dessert I didn't know what to make of. No, beforehand. But in fact it worked very well because I thought they were going to be different. But the way it was written up.
Yep.
And then it came as a mix. But yet you could pick out the different tastes and the flavors.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
From what I've learned over the last sort of 10, 12 days, I think, I've pulled it off. The star of the show, which really was the main course, the Maharaja kind of gave me a pat on the back and told me it was the star of the show. So I'm happy.